Communication Error.
Welcome to the 42nd episode of the Communication Error podcast, the community patch notes episode of video games and amusement parks and theme parks. But before we get into it, we have a very special guest. You probably have seen her videos on Theme Parks Stop. Am I saying that right? We have Alicia Stella.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for being on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
I have one question right off the bat. Is it theme parks or amusement parks?
It's theme parks.
Okay.
Because I appreciate the theming.
Okay.
Amusement parks usually have fun rides, but they just
So there
don't
is
have
a
the rock
difference?
work.
Is there a
You
difference?
need the rock work. Yeah, there's a difference. It's immersive. It's like you're in another world. Whereas an amusement park, you're like, I'm on a roller coaster. Like, I'm on a tilt-a-whirl. That's an amusement park.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We are going to learn so much tonight.
A theme park, it's like, hey, welcome to our open house. This is our magical whatever, blah, 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 blah. There's a pre-show. You're in the world, and they have fake rocks and caves and things, water features. It's fancy. It costs more to go. That's how you know the difference.
Yeah, I never really, because I always thought they were interchangeable. I thought you could say theme park or amusement park. I don't remember what I called them growing up. I think I called them amusement parks.
I mean, they are amusing, but they're a step above, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I learned something today already. So nice.
Now, you've been doing this for 8 years. Can you tell us a little more about that journey and how that all started? Because honestly, I feel like I started following you as soon as they announced that they were doing plans of a Super Nintendo world. That's how I discovered you. And your content is amazing. For anybody that hasn't watched, you've just reached 100,000 subscribers. Congrats.
Thank you. I got so excited. They're actually sending me this
Are you getting the play button?
Yeah, that one.
Nice.
Nice.
So
yeah, that's amazing. So take us down that journey. How did you get started on that?
I had a personal blog that I was using just to talk about movies and random things, and I found myself going to the theme parks, at the time Universal, a lot, and I was following theme parks on the forums when they were building the Harry Potter worlds and stuff, and I was looking at all these construction photos, and I thought it was fascinating, and I've always liked to watch theme parks evolve and grow, and I was going to the park so much, and I was like, oh, it looks like they're building a new ride, and I found out it was going to be through the rumor mill, a Skull Island Reign of Kong, it's what it ended up being, but a King Kong ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there the day they started clearing the land, so I took pictures and I put it up on my blog, and then I went back the next week when they took down the Jurassic Park arch on that side of the land at Islands of Adventure, and I took pictures of the arch missing, and I was like, I could do this because I'm here every week. It's my happy place. I just walk around the park. While I walk by here, I'll take some pictures. This is 2015, 2014, something like that. And it's just my personal blog. I'm just posting pictures. And then I realized one day, I'm like, this camera, this little point and shoot camera takes video. And I hold my hand over the construction wall and I take a little sweep shot video and I post it to a YouTube channel that I already had for other purposes that I never actually did anything with.
Mm-hmm.
And so was born my YouTube channel, which was just my name at the time. And it was just to embed in the blog post. It was just an extra visual with movement because they were starting to do all this beautiful sculpting. And I didn't talk in a YouTube video for another several years till 2018, I think. No, 2017, right at the end, because I started talking about Super Nintendo World. And that's the point when I realized I like doing this. I should give it its own website. I shouldn't be on I think it was Alicia's Blogosaurus. So I created Orlando Park Stop and I renamed my YouTube channel to Theme Park Stop. And what was a hobby over the course of 7 or 8 years became my job. I used to do web design. I used to do video work. So it fit naturally for me to do something on the web that also has video component. But I love doing it. I love, I found myself researching permits and stuff to see what they were building next. And I was like, oh, I know where that building number is. So I wonder what they're doing with that building. And then I'd research it and look into it. So all of my like nerdy loves came together, and now I get to do that all the time.
That's amazing. I mean, that's the dream, right? That like if it's something that you're really into, that you like want to make that a career.
Yeah, I mean, like I still skim the forums and I like looking at it, but I really look like I look like looking through the permits, the patents for new technologies. I mainly still talk about Universal. It's not that I don't like looking at what Disney's doing, just so many people cover Disney
Mhm.
that there's almost like a vacuum for people covering Universal. And then Universal started doing so much. And I happened
Mhm.
to have accidentally positioned myself in such a way. I mean, I was talking about Epic Universe, the new theme park for Orlando that Universal is opening next year. I
Mhm.
was talking about that a year before they announced it because they bought all this land, and I saw the permits and I'm like, these permits have a giant parking lot, y'all. They're building a theme park down there. Like this parking lot can't be for anything else. And then like there's other permits, and I'm like, oh, it's a hub and spoke design, y'all. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Local news actually had me on. It was one of my like first big breaks for Epic Universe, and they're like, "We believe you. We believe that you know that this is a theme park that they're building." So we talked about it on the news. And then when they actually announced Epic Universe, less than an hour later, I tweeted out, "Here are the lands of Epic Universe," and
Mhm.
I was right. Like it's now 4 years later, and
Uh-huh.
they just announced finally the lands for Epic Universe, and my 1 hour later tweet was correct. So it's been like it's not even a hobby or a job; it's an obsession at this point.
Yeah, I even think like checking patents and permits, like that stuff is fascinating to me. I'm an accountant, so I like weird, boring things.
Right.
Like I love I
For
love
some reason,
numbers.
legalese for some reason comes naturally to me. So like I'm reading this very complicated, clearly written by a lawyer thing, and I'm like, okay, I know what they're saying. I can decode this down to its simplest form. But also like trademarks. Like I knew the names of all the rides for Epic Universe years ago and over the last year or so because they have to trademark it. And then when they trademark it, I like post online, like, I think this ride is this and this ride is that. And I like point them all together. And then when they announced details just a couple weeks ago, I was right 100% on every name.
So I
So
so speaking of that, have you ever been contacted by like Universal to be like, "Hey, don't say this"?
um uh no comment. Strangely enough, the one time that really has happened was Orange County. I do record requests sometimes because there's a Freedom of Information Act here in Florida. So I requested some permits and they gave me too much. And I posted like this big article and I was going to work on a video. And within an hour, I got a letter from Orange County on like a legal letterhead, and it said, cease and desist, remove this image. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
y'all sent it to me
Yeah.
in an email. In an email that on the footer always says from Orange County, everything is public in this email communication. Do not use private information, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, by your own words, you
Yeah.
release this publicly, not me.
Yeah, because
That
But I
was
had to take it
trademarks have
down.
to be public, right? Like all that stuff is public
Yeah.
record. You just have to
This,
look for it.
I think it was fire safety. That's why it didn't
Mhm.
necessarily need to go public, even though they gave it to me. So if that ever happens now, if I see something, I usually redact it before I release it so that it doesn't give away information that's not supposed to be out there.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's incredible just hearing. It sounds like you have so much passion for it, and that's great. I love when people have passion for the things they enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it really just sounds like you are giving people a reason to dream, like you can make it happen. And like you said, you just happen to make content around Universal Studios. I mean, you fell in the right place because it's only going to get bigger from here. And I mean, you know
Hmm.
that, but I think you have the platform for Universal Studios like that. Everyone's going to listen to you.
I think after Epic Universe in Orlando opens in 2025, the next big thing will probably be a United Kingdom theme park. I broke the news in December because I found the land sale title documents that says Comcast has purchased this many acres of land in this one like borough in the UK in Great Britain. So I did this little video, and I did the video intending to like, oh, this will be the next thing we talk about after we talk about Orlando. And I proved it so hard that Universal had to, within 24 hours, admit that they're thinking about building a theme park in Great Britain. I thought for sure it would be years before they said anything. So I woke up and like I had like a pit in my stomach, and I'm like, oh no, they have seen me. I have been observed by the Comcast, and I have affected business and commerce. But the thankfully everything is going really well, and the government's on board, and the locals for the most part are on board with this theme park concept. They're still exploring it. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it's it's such an exciting time because Universal Hollywood, Universal Japan, Singapore, Beijing, they're all building new things. And we have this new theme park in Orlando. And now there might be another big new theme park after this. So yeah, I will never run out of things to talk about if this continues like this.
That's great. A little off topic, just because I'm a big fan of yours. Can you please talk about your love for Rizzo the Rat?
Rizzo the Rat. I was going to say, how can I reach Rizzo from here? I have to take headphones off.
I don't even know who Rizzo the Rat is.
Oh my God, Johnny. I'm so glad she didn't.
Wait,
hear you
okay,
right
all right.
now.
That's a Muppet, right?
It's a Muppet.
Did you say you don't know who Rizzo the Rat is?
Yeah, I don't. Well, now I do. Oh, it looks like cheesy. Oh, I get it now.
Ah, see, I take that as a compliment.
Pizza Rizzo. Pizza Rizzo. Okay. It's a mediocre pizza restaurant. I'm sorry, earmuffs. It's a mediocre pizza restaurant at Disney's Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. But I love it because it's usually quiet, has really good air conditioning, and there's an upstairs that no one knows is up there. So I like it. It's not really pizza. It's more like a pizza bread bowl because it's like this giant, like everyone's like, it's all crust. And I'm like, yeah, but the crust is the best part. So I am the #1 fan for Pizza Rizzo. It's kind of my office away from home. I literally will take my work there and write blog posts while dining at Pizza Rizzo. I always make the joke that it's my office hours and come visit me. And some people have. They know what booth I'm at. They go, I've done podcasts in that booth. It's my home away from home.
I was
just sounds
just
like
down.
What, Johnny?
I was just down in Walt Disney World, but I didn't even know that was a thing. That pizza place was
It's
a thing.
across from Muppet Vision.
Okay, yeah, actually.
Do you even
all
know
right,
what the
full
Muppets
disclosure?
are, Johnny?
Yes, I know. I didn't go into the Muppet area. I went right past it into Galaxy's Edge. So
How dare you? And you know what? It's less expensive than Docking Bay 7.
Oh,
So,
really?
you know, if
Okay.
you want a good quick service meal, they have the best cannolis. Good cannolis.
Money isn't real when I go there. Like whatever it costs, that's what I'm
No.
going to spend it.
Oh. And it will cost whatever they want. So
Yeah. So we always ask the guests, and if you don't have an answer, that's fine. You could just choose the one that I want you to choose. So we always have the guests. We always ask the guests if you prefer Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World. I'm not sure if you're a big Mario fan.
okay. As in like the third game on the NES and the first game on the Super NES?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, those are probably my 2 favorite Mario games because that's when I stopped playing. I'd have to go Mario 3.
Yes.
Oh,
everything.
dang.
2 times in a row. We're getting back.
Yeah.
You think this is the
Also-
year?
Also, I saw the Wizard like in
Oh,
theaters.
yeah.
That big reveal at the end when it's like there's this game and I'm like, oh no, I need to have. Also, that had Universal Studios Hollywood in it. It's a crossover right there. And now there is a like Nintendo Mario in the
Yeah.
park that's in the movie The Wizard. Anyway, that's a deep cut, the Wizard movie.
And that's when it all started for you. Was just
Mhm.
yeah, Universal was in that in the Wizard movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y-
All right,
yes.
Johnny, that's 2 in a row for you.
That is 2 in a row for me.
I
I'll
mean,
take it.
I do love Yoshi.
I'm like 2
Yoshi Is Yoshi not in? He's in.
He's not in
World
3. He's
first.
not in 3. He's in the world.
Yeah, he's not in 3.
Yeah.
It makes me almost question my answer, but no, 3 is my favorite. Raccoon Mario, you can't beat.
2 out of like 10. All right. I'm still way down. I'm still way down on this. But so we're on the gaming side of things, and we wanted to have you on because it seems like video games are starting to become more prevalent in the theme park space with Super Mario World and some other things that we looked at, but not as prevalent as I expected. And I think were you the one that broke the news about Pokemon and Legend of Zelda?
Sort of, sort of. I think there's been rumors because we saw some leaked concept art for the original Super Nintendo world, and it had Zelda in it. It had Pokemon in it. It had it had Kirby in it. It had instead of a Yoshi ride, it was a bullet bill you ride on that goes around the land.
Huh.
Like it had everything. It had the Donkey Kong coaster and it had the Mario Kart. Luigi's Mansion was in there. So any rumor we hear now probably stems from that original art, which was like cram everything in here and see if Nintendo approves it. And Nintendo wanted to pare it down and make it more specific. Like, let's just do this Mushroom Kingdom area, this Yoshi area, this Donkey Kong, and maybe we'll do Zelda later. Give it its own whole world. So I was the first to break the news, I think, on the ride system they were thinking about doing for Zelda at the time. Which would have been a boat ride that halfway through the ride turns into a flying ride. Um,
Ooh.
which
What
I
would
don't know.
that
I don't
be
know
in?
Zelda. Whatever Zelda game that you jump off the thing and you have the flying thing.
Okay, so that's Breath of Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Like the ride vehicle literally would get the canopy and start flying, and it looked like his canopy thing. But I think they shelved that because the ride system was a little too ambitious. So they went back to the drawing board. Now the rumor is like a boat ride. And Pokemon, same thing. It's gone through like 4 or 5 cycles, and I wasn't the only person reporting on it because there's so many different, like they would contract out different artists to design a concept, like Blue Sky it's called in theme parks where you can do anything.
Mm.
And because they were doing anything, everyone's reporting on different stuff, and I'm like, well, I heard it was a suspended coaster, and this person's like, I heard an Omni Mover for Pokemon Snap, and I heard this and I heard that. So far, as far as I can tell, Zelda hasn't been fully approved yet, but Pokemon has. So that might come first. It's supposed to replace the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man in Universal Studios Japan, which just closed a couple weeks ago. And it's going to be a new type of ride. Just like Mario Kart, it'll use the augmented reality goggles,
Mm-hmm.
but in an entirely new way with hand gestures. I think like if you want I could get into it, but I think the Pokemon ride is like you go from scene to scene if you're familiar with the Spider-Man ride.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the goggles on, so you have your own heads up display that only you can see. And you literally can pick the Pokemon you want to pull out. And then
Ooh.
you take the Pokeball and you throw it, but all of it's in your goggles.
Yeah.
And it shows you this in the first few scenes. It teaches you the hand gestures or whatever. And then when you get to different biomes with different Pokemon, you interact with them or battle them individually. Like you have your Pokemon literally sitting there in front of your ride vehicle, and you're like, do this move, or do this move, do this move, and you battle. And at the end, everyone in the ride vehicle battles the boss at the same time.
Whoa.
So it's a new type of interactive ride that isn't just like Mario Kart right now is just look somewhere and press a button, look somewhere and press a button, look somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. This one is very much like Web Slingers over at Disney California Adventure mixed with Mario Kart, but also in a new kind of way. 'Cause it's not 3D glasses, it's the real world,
Mm-hmm.
but it uses the augmented reality to put the Pokemon you select in front of you.
That's awesome. We have a fan of the show who's really into Pokemon, and they talked about how there's a Poke Park, or there was back in like 2005 in
Mhm.
Japan. Do you think that this is something that Nintendo has been wanting to do for a long time, and just making really just a theme park for it, and maybe some of those ideas would come into play? I mean, like, do you have any
I
knowledge of that?
I think the Pokemon Company, which is technically not just Nintendo,
Yeah,
but also
yeah.
Game Freak, they have a tendency, um, they say yes to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, theme parks, because it's a separate deal from the Nintendo deal, they might not have exclusive rights at Universal for this type of thing, but Universal will obviously be creating the ride like design itself, so nowhere
Mm-hmm.
else would have this ride but Universal Parks. But you might see other similar theme park type experiences based on Pokemon because there's a reason they're the most profitable franchise in the world because they say yes to literally everything.
Yeah.
So there is like a Poke Park like right outside of Universal Studios Japan because it is so popular, but it won't have an interactive ride of this caliber. It's more of a walk around a park area type thing, like a literal garden. So,
Okay.
as far as I
Okay.
know, it's a very different type of concept. And the ride is just the beginning. I think it's the New York themed area at Japan. According to my rumor, it's replacing the Simpsons over in Orlando, and then
Mm-hmm.
Springfield will be taken over. And if we get like a full Pokemon land, then they can have interactive like Pokemon catching thing in the land. So you could buy a thing like an interactive wand at Harry Potter. You could buy a
Yep.
thing and then carry it around the land, catch different Pokemon, and then use them on the ride. And that's something you're not going to find anywhere else in the world.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
I know. I'm hyped just like thinking about it because you said like Pokemon's the highest grossing franchise because they agree to everything. I disagree because they're the highest grossing franchise because of me. I buy everything.
Well, they agree to everything and people buy it. It's a two-way street. You really have to have people buying the stuff.
Yeah, because I mean I've been to Harry Potter World. I know how their interactive wands work, and I think well Cheesy's been to Super Nintendo World and they have the interactive
Yeah, the
things
power-up
there,
bands. Yeah.
and I could it would work perfectly for Pokemon
Mhm.
where they could just kind of make it like Pokemon Go but in in the park where you're just
Well,
going.
just like the power-up band, how you manage all of your like the stamps that you earn and the badges you earn all through the app, you would manage the Pokemon you collect through the Pokedex section of your Universal whatever app.
Mm-hmm.
Even the wands themselves, and I haven't really been talking about it too much, but like I think later this year they're upgrading or releasing a new version of the interactive wands at Harry Potter lands, and it's going to use the app. So you can actually keep track of what spells you've done and
Ooh.
unlock achievements and things, just like the power up bands. Like so, bringing the video game franchises into the theme parks and really making it more interactive is changing the way that even existing things in theme parks operate. And new attractions when they come online might be like forever change the way that Harry Potter forever changed the immersiveness of theming. Now it's the name of the game is like integrating, like buying something extra like the wand, but now integrating it with the app. The new Minion ride that just opened at Universal Studios Florida integrates with
Mm-hmm.
the app. And like your high scores can be tracked in there and you can earn different things. You can level up your weapon. So that type of interactivity seems to be like something that is integrating more and more in the theme park sphere because of Super Nintendo World and the push from Nintendo, the rights holder, to like really push Universal to make it more interactive.
Speaking of the power up bands, we are a year into uh, Super Nintendo World, and they're releasing a gold one, a gold Mario band
This is at Hollywood.
at Hollywood. Do
Yeah.
you have it, or are you going to try to get it?
I haven't even been to Super Nintendo World in Hollywood or Japan
Okay.
yet. I am waiting for my Orlando version, which was supposed to open last year, I think, but because they were going to put it in Universal Studios Florida, and then they decided to build this whole new theme park, and they moved it over there, and then the pandemic hit, and when that happened, everything got delayed, and now I have to wait longer, and I'm like, "Ah, it wasn't that bad when it was just going to be a year after the other one, but now I have to wait 2 years." So, no, I do not have the gold one. I wonder with that because the stats are per power up band and not per user. So like if you get the gold one, do you transfer all your stats or are you just starting from scratch? I haven't looked into that yet.
Yeah, I don't know because I know that when I went there, they have all the different stamps that you can collect, and I mean it's so smart. They have like the stamp that you can collect for going in summer or the stamp that you can get for
Yes.
going in winter.
There's like a
Um,
little Halloween stamp. There's a Christmas
yeah,
stamp. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm not sure if like you can transfer or if it recognizes that you're using a different band based
I don't
on
know.
your account. But since you brought up Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, and to be honest, I think you waiting for Orlando to open is going to be a great experience. It's going to be, in
Well,
my opinion, probably better than Hollywood.
we have two more rides than Hollywood, so there's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing is that it's Super Nintendo World, but when you look at Hollywood, it's up against the back lot and there's
Mhm.
not really like I don't see how they can expand. Do you know of ways that
Technically,
they could?
technically, I think they can. They just have to say goodbye to a soundstage or two, and then
Oh.
build a elevated bridge from the second level, which right now is like barely anything. I think there's the AR binoculars are up there. There's an
Mhm.
ADA entrance to get elevator to get to the Mario Kart ride, and there's
Mhm.
just like a couple brick blocks that you can collect or coin blocks, and that's it. And there's like for no reason stairs, and I'm like, those stairs are gonna go to a ride someday. I betcha. It's like you go to the right and here's Mario Kart in the Mount Beanpole, and you go to the left and it stairs to nothing. It's like that's gonna be a portal one day.
Hmm. Yeah, Johnny had the idea of like, you take a warp pipe
Hmm.
to one of the areas and like that gets you up to the next level or something like that.
Isn't it a pipe going into, like,
Hmm.
isn't the
Yeah.
arch a pipe?
Yeah,
And that's what they're
yeah.
doing in Orlando for the portal, right? It's a pipe.
Hmm.
It's not.
Well, it's a Epic Universe is like trying to be really out there. So like it's a portal first, and then inside the portal is the green warp pipe. So like you have the portal to get out of the celestial park in the center of Epic Universe, and then inside there is your entrance to Super Nintendo World. So it's almost like a double portal because they didn't want to not do the green warp pipe. But when you're inside of Super Nintendo World, both in Japan later this year and in Epic Universe in 2025, there's also another warp pipe at the back of the land to get to Donkey Kong Country.
Mhm.
So just like we have that to get to our little mini land there, Hollywood could do that and have a warp pipe to go to another attraction later, which I haven't said anything, but I think might happen. And I don't think it'll be Donkey Kong. I think Hollywood might get something fresh. I
Oh,
don't know.
interesting.
I don't know what yet. I think
Yeah.
Luigi's
they might
Mansion.
try to.
Put it in there.
We're probably getting that at Epic Universe as an expansion. As of right now, that's the rumor. So
Well,
I
Florida
still
just
think
has a lot
Hollywood.
more space, right? They just have a lot more
Mhm.
space to work with
Oh
down
yeah,
down in Florida.
we have the two theme parks, a water park, and now a third theme park being built. And there's still extra land left over if they wanted to. If they wanted to, they could build another theme park, and be like the Walt Disney World with the one, two, three, four theme parks. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
one of the questions who somebody posed it. I don't know where it was.
All right.
Oh,
Well, I'll
oh no,
do you
no.
got it?
Pop Hoax on Twitter asked, with Disney buying Epic Games, well, they didn't. They bought a fraction of it. Can we
Hmm.
see
Mm.
a fifth gate in Orlando? So, do you think with the investment into Epic Games, the makers of Fortnite, we'll
Mhm.
see any Fortnite stuff in Disney?
I think you would see more Disney and Fortnite. I think it would be the
Yeah.
other way around. I mean, we've already got Family Guy in there. That's technically a Disney property.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
True.
That's
is.
yeah,
And I think
that's
the
the
Simpsons
beginning.
are
I
in
think
there too.
yeah, see, I think you'll see more of that. I don't know. They certainly wouldn't build an entire theme park based around it. You need to diversify your offerings within a theme park. Otherwise, you're only going to sell tickets to like 10% of your audience. So you want to have different lands, different rides. People always say like they should do an entire Nintendo theme park. Universal should do an entire Nintendo theme park. But not everyone likes Nintendo. Not everyone understands what video games
They're
are.
wrong.
I know, I know. But if you go to a theme park that happens to have Nintendo, you're probably going to go on the ride, and it might open you up to like I didn't really care about Harry Potter, and then I went on Harry Potter rides, and I'm like, oh, this is a really well done ride, and it made me go back and watch the movies a second and third time because I'm like, this is like it makes you appreciate the art more. So Nintendo, just like Nintendo, I don't think you can't do a whole you can do a whole theme park on Fortnite. I just don't think you would get as many people as the Magic Kingdom. So it might not be worth it. As for attractions, I don't know. Epic Games owns more than just Fortnite, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they own a bunch of things.
yeah. So who knows? They have a whole catalog of stuff. We might see random like meet and greets show up at Hollywood Studios. That's usually what they do with new things they own, um, or merchandise at very least, so they can make some money, throw it in the theme parks. But we'll see. I think just more Disney characters in Fortnite is my guess.
Yeah, I wanna play as Elsa doing the gritty on people. That's my goal. That's my dream in life.
I have no idea what Fortnite is. I'm just pretending that I have any clue what any of this means.
Well, it
Well,
would be funny. It
ye-
would be funny.
so not just Nintendo, but just gaming in general entering the theme park space because we
Mhm,
have seen like The Last of Us got a Hollywood
mhm.
Horror Night section.
Right.
Um, is this something that you see going forward? Like we'll see more of, or is Nintendo just perfect because of their IP and they kind of fit that theme park
Mhm.
aesthetic?
I think Nintendo is like Mickey Mouse at this point. Mario is
Yeah.
like Mickey Mouse. It's transcended its original like origins, and the fact that Illumination, which is a Universal subsidiary, made the Mario movie
Hmm.
really like shows like and the fact that it made $1 billion. Like it shows that this is a beloved character even without um like I have nieces that have played with the Lego Mario stuff before playing a Mario game. It exists outside of the video games at this point, and it's hard to find another video game property that is that popular. So that will probably always be the most successful. Things like Zelda, even if you're uninitiated and don't know Zelda, entering a themed world that looks like Hyrule would be beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And going on an adventure ride with these characters, you would just like consider it an original ride if you didn't understand what it's based on. So that
Hmm.
could be successful. Pokemon, obviously, everyone knows what that is. Everyone knows who Pikachu is. So, but at a certain point, less and less people are going to understand what a property is, and it might be a harder sell on a theme park to do something. Halloween Horror Nights and a haunted house is an easy sell because it's going to be scary regardless. People are going to jump out at you. There's like it's zombies like for
Hmm.
Last of Us, mushroom zombies, but still, and like so it still works even if you don't know the property. But it wasn't the first one. I'm trying to think of what the first one was. There was another one many years ago. Oh, I can't remember it. So there has been video games before at Halloween Horror Nights, and there probably will be in the future. But whether it's a themed world or a ride really depends on its accessibility to the general public, or whether it translates well enough to stand on its own if you don't know what it is.
So before we started the podcast, you were talking about how Universal Hollywood and Universal Japan have changed their Twitter logo to something that looks blocky and
Yeah, it's
looks like,
pixelated.
yeah, it looks like Minecraft. And you kind of
It
got me
does.
thinking, you were talking about how you have zombies that are just kind of popping out at you for Hollywood Horror Nights. Could they
Oh,
do like a kid version of
hmm.
like creepers or coming in attacking you or.
Yeah. I always wondered because like Lego has the toy rights to Minecraft. I always wondered why Legoland hasn't done a Minecraft land. That's such an easy sell.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's a perfect fit for the demographic and for the type of attractions that you could do. I mean, it's literally blocks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the social media posts are about. It's for Hollywood and Orlando, but I know they have a presence in Minecraft. Like they have Universal Studios Hollywood like built, and you can go visit it for special events and stuff. So I assume it's something like that. But if they were to do some kind of Minecraft event in the parks, that would be successful. I think that's one of those properties that's big enough that even I know
Mhm.
what it is.
Mhm.
Like I'm aware of it, and I know younger people love it. So I don't understand it, but like I understand that it makes money. So
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I've never played Minecraft before, and I know that as a gamer, that's probably a sin to say, but
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it was
It's not.
a little after our time. Like, I didn't really play it
Mhm.
that much until I don't know later in life, and I don't get the appeal to it. But
Mhm.
I don't think it's for me. So
Is it
And
like Roblox? Can you build your own
yeah,
stuff?
it's like Roblox. It's
Okay, because
just like blockier.
I was real I was really into Second Life back in the
oh
day.
yeah, yeah.
So no surprise, I built theme park attractions in Second Life that you could ride and stuff. So like to me, I feel like that's the level of like the PS2 level quality graphics is my jam. I can't do giant blocks. I need it to be smooth. I need it to look like the actual thing. It doesn't have to be too high quality, but it needs to be a little bit higher than 4-bit.
Have
Yeah.
you so speaking of video games, have you played Roller Coaster Tycoon? I used to
Oh
love that
yeah.
growing up.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I think was my favorite. No, 2. I think it was 2. Once it went 3D, I no longer liked it. I want the 4 view spin where it's like fake 2D for
Uh-huh.
3D. I want my 45-degree angles. Once you get into full rotation, it confuses me. But yeah, no, I used to play that. I used to play Zoo Tycoon with the dinosaur expansion pack. And
Mhm.
what was great about that and The Sims back then is that you could import your own assets. So I would model things in 3D, create the 4 image fake 3D like still frames, and then import it into like Zoo Tycoon and made my own Jurassic Park with a visitor center because
That's
that's who I
awesome.
am. Yeah. Or I would take the little soda machines that you get in Roller Coaster Tycoon and I would change the image to my favorite sodas and like add it as a new asset. And then when all the little people walk around, they have my version of the soda instead of the in-game version.
So
I didn't like
I see you have Jurassic Park behind you. You're a big
yes.
Jurassic Park fan, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I've been to Universal in Orlando. There's like a very small section for Jurassic Park, right? Like it's not big.
Are you talking about Hollywood or Orlando? Orlando?
Orlando, yeah.
It's funny because when Islands of Adventure opened, that is the biggest land in Islands of Adventure by space. It lost a little bit to Skull Island and a little bit to Harry Potter, but like it is physically the largest. I'm not a big fan of the river ride, the river adventure ride, because it doesn't remind me of the movies. There used to be a Triceratops encounter though when it first opened that was really good. It wasn't a ride though, so people didn't do it very often. But it had a full scale $2 million Triceratops animatronic, like full scale. It would breathe, it would sneeze snot on you. It was really cool. But now we have the Velocicoaster, which is like my favorite roller coaster, so it's all good. How could you
Okay, so I
call that
don't
small? It's a
actually
massive land.
Yeah, Johnny.
I mean, I went there in 2018. Yeah, I went there in 2018, and we spent most of like 90% of the time in the Harry Potter world. Like,
Oh, well, they were still building the Velocicoaster at the time then.
oh, okay,
So
so yeah, cheesy. Don't yell at me.
yeah. There might have been like construction walls. They might have felt much smaller. Like Camp Jurassic could have been closed. The best play area at any theme park ever, Camp Jurassic. Anyone who's listening to this, go to Camp Jurassic, walk past Pteranodon Flyers because you have to have a small child. You can't get on it. Just walk past it. There are caves in the back of that area that you can explore that are beautiful. They have like stalactites dripping and stuff and colors and lights. And you can go find amber in the amber mines. No one even knows it's there. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
you probably
Mhm.
know so many theme park secrets that most people wouldn't even like know while being there. Is
Yeah,
that true?
people like yeah, people don't even yeah. There's entire areas of a theme park. There are times I saw I don't know if it's fake or not, but there are people that were like, I didn't even know Diagon Alley. It's like I've been a pass holder for 2 years. I didn't even know Diagon Alley was back there. I just thought it was London because you have to go through the
It's
bricks.
that's a really cool trick that they did, that they put it behind
Hmm.
the like townhouses. Like it's or
I mean, that's what inspired Epic Universe, where each of the worlds of Epic Universe are hidden behind a wall. So you have to go
Mm.
through the portal to get in. And you're kind of like locked into that land, but nothing will beat the fact that they don't even have a sign that says Diagon Alley. You have to find it.
Yeah. Well, now I'm just thinking about if they had a Zelda park, like if there was a waterfall that you could go under and then discover something behind that waterfall. think
See,
that
I
would be
don't
really
know. I
cool.
don't know Zelda very well, but I do
Yeah, I
expect
don't even
clay
know. I
pot.
don't even know what he's
And
talking
there's to be
about. I
clay
played.
clay pots everywhere that you can just smack and they break. Like that's what they
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is Zelda
No,
Land.
I'm just talking about like, in video games when you're
Yeah.
like searching for something, sometimes it's behind a waterfall. Like if you go through the waterfall, it's there.
I'm
I thought
sure
it
there'll
was
be
a
interactive
specific.
stuff at a Zelda Land.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking. So there's a big Deku tree,
mhm.
which would be like it would rival the Tree of Life from
Mhm.
Animal Kingdom. So that would be cool. That would be cool to put in
The
there.
current rumor is one of the restaurants that's already in the Lost Continent area of Islands of Adventure could be rethemed to the Deku Tree, so that there would be an excuse to keep that restaurant around because it's a really
Hmm.
good restaurant, but it would just be rethemed as the giant tree.
So I guess going forward with theme parks, is it good to have gaming involved? I mean, you had mentioned earlier that they're trying to make it more interactive, but
Mhm.
is that also a negative because it's kind of behind a paywall to have that full experience? Like you have to
Oh,
buy the power up
yeah,
bands or you have to buy the
right.
wand to really get the full experience of that park.
As long as the rides stay part of the normal theme park experience, I don't think it's that big a deal because it's really just unlocking a thing that's going to kill more time that most people would rather be riding rides anyway.
Hmm.
So like as long as it's not a ride, I think the Bowser Jr. Showdown at the end of like when
Hmm.
you've collected enough keys, that one's teetering on almost being a full-on attraction. Like, but anything beyond that, if it's an actual ride that the only way to experience it is to spend $35 to $50, I'd be a little bummed. But you could still go on Mario Kart. It's just not going to track your score, and you can
Right.
still go on Yoshi. And those are still interactive experiences, even if you don't spend the money on the power up band. And I think those are key. You need to have that. They did the same thing at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where it's free. You can just download the Disney Play app, and you can use it as a data pad and walk around and interact with the world. And I don't like it because like I'd rather enjoy my day there. I don't have to be on my phone. Also, it drains the battery so fast.
Yeah.
But now they have a new interactive experience that requires a Magic Band Plus, which is like $35 to $50. And this Magic Band Plus, it's a bounty hunter game where you go to the main checkpoint. It tells you have to go find this whatever alien, and then you have to look around the land and find it. And then when you find it, you stick your hand in the hole, and the bounty hunter goes, "Thank you for the information. Here is your credits." And it's fun, but it's behind a paywall. But it's like it's not a ride, it's not Rise of the Resistance fun. It's
Hmm.
more like I've been here multiple times, or I'm a local, so I don't mind killing an hour doing this.
Yeah. Is there anything that you are wanting to see from theme parks that just haven't happened yet? Like if you were in charge, what is it that you
Okay.
would do differently?
What would I do differently? Oh no, don't tell me, don't ask me that. I If I were in charge, honestly, I would update some older things to be better, and I have many ideas about that. Like I would update the Figment ride, the Imagination ride at
Oh
Epcot.
yeah. Yeah.
And that one I would make interactive. But I would turn it into a choose your own adventure thing where whatever you imagine is the ride. And it would have multiple branches and use the Runaway Railway projection mapping to have different scenery through the same set pieces. So
Mm.
when you ride, Dreamfinder on his Dreamfinder ship would ask you in the beginning what kind of adventure you want to have, and people in the car would shout out prompts, and it would use AI to interpret the different things that they're saying to like do you want a scary ride or a silly ride, and you would say things, and it would mix together answers and give you different paths and different projection mapping to create a unique experience tailored to the people in that car. That's the type of thing I would do,
Yeah.
but that's out
That
there.
is
So
a great example for a Figment ride.
they
Just using
are
your imagination. What?
Hmm.
they are like leaning into Figment more now
Yeah.
because now there's an actual character and he has merch.
Yes, but only if they would update his ride.
Yeah. And
It's
also like a Seth Rogen movie? Is that still a thing?
I mean, that might be good. The Ninja Turtles movie was fine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a good producer. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just think that an imagination ride should be imaginative. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, so I just want to say thank you for coming on here. But also, when I was going to Super Nintendo World, I reached out to you just asking
Mm.
questions, and I mean, like we didn't interact, but you were kind enough to just answer some of the questions I had of like, what kind of content should I be creating for going out to Super
Oh
Nintendo World?
yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
this is your world. I don't know what I'm doing, and you were just so kind, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, well, you're welcome. No, I love theme parks. I love all aspects of theme parks. I mean, I love when theme parks change, but that's mainly because like it gives me something to look forward to and something to anticipate, and
Hmm.
experiencing new things is the most fun thing for me in a theme park. I think that's even what I told you is like don't forget you're there to experience it.
Yeah,
Don't put content creation before enjoying yourself. I think a lot of like vloggers do that where they're just too busy doing this to actually
yeah,
just absorb everything. So theme parks to me are like they're not just an escape, they're just an art form that you get to be inside. It's a movie happening around you. So I will always love theme parks for that.
Yeah, that's good advice just in general for like I have to remind myself that I'm supposed to enjoy video games and not just try to think of like video ideas
Mm.
for it. Like I, I should just enjoy it. And so over these past couple of years, me and my partner have really gotten into theme parks. Like we went to Disney this past like Christmas, and then we went the year
Mhm.
before, and we've been trying to get more into it. We bound as Star Wars characters in Galaxy's Edge,
Nice.
and it's it's just so fun. And then next year, when Epic Universe opens, like we're gonna try to get there as soon as possible, and we're gonna try to stay at that hotel that's on property because
Nice.
I that would be that kills so much time. Like when you're on in a
Mhm.
resort and you have to like wait for a shuttle and then go back and forth. So we're gonna try to get
Yes.
that one on property.
It's like game changing. You just go down to the lobby, you walk into the theme park. It's
Yeah,
right there. It's
it's
going to be
probably gonna be like
expensive.
impossible to get
It's going to be
reservations.
expensive. I think because it's so expensive, it might be possible to get reservations.
Well, so we had reserved the Star Wars hotel or
Oh yeah,
whatever it was called. I forget what it was called.
Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah, the Star Cruiser. We had it reserved. We were gonna go, but then the reviews came out, and we're like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
I don't think spending this much money is going to be worth this experience. So we canceled
Mhm.
it, and now we regret it because we're like, oh, now it's shut down.
Yeah, it's such a like it already was a once in a lifetime thing because no, like you can't pay that much money twice, but now it literally is a once in a lifetime thing because you can't. It's closed. It's gone. So yeah, I understand that feeling. I kept saying like if they decrease the price by like four times as less money, I'll go. But I can't justify. I don't like Star Wars that much to justify
Yeah,
it. If it
for
was any other if it was a Rizzo hotel, I'd go. But like no, not Star
yeah
Wars.
for 2 days, it was
Yeah.
astronomically high. It was like
Yeah.
the cost of the whole trip.
Mhm.
Like if we would just go to a normal resort, it costed that for 2 days.
It seemed like and not to go into a diatribe, but it seemed like an emotionally taxing experience too. Because you're in a LARP for 48 hours
Yeah.
and you are essentially trapped in a storyline that you are in long enough to psychologically believe. I almost wonder if they had kept this open, if there would be some kind of legal issues down the line. Because I remember seeing like the footage of children crying when it was time to go home because you were immersed so long for like so long a period that you literally believe it. Depending on your age, you might not know the difference. Uh,
Ooh,
so
yeah.
so it is a weird like psychological experiment to see how long you go on Rise of Resistance. It's 15-minute like experience between pre-shows and ride, and then you go outside and go get like some ice cream or whatever. But you're trapped on this thing. You are in Star Wars. There is no escape. Like when Kylo Ren shows up, you probably fear for your life by then because you've been there for 36 hours.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
yeah,
That's
I didn't think about that either. Maybe it was probably for the best.
No, I don't have the stomach for it. I can't, I'll go to a movie and I'm like bawling by the end and I walk out of there like a changed person. I'm like, that movie really struck me. I can't do a 48-hour movie that I'm inside of.
yeah.
That's scary.
So when do you think they're gonna sell tickets for the Epic Universe? Because I gotta be like, I don't want to. I gotta get there day one.
If I were to put a date on it, I would say August of this year, late summer. I think they're going to do a preview center in the middle of the summer, and I think they're going to start selling tickets by the end of the summer because you really need to start selling vacation packages a year out. People plan their vacation a year before they go to a theme park, and they're probably going to wait a little bit, but I can't see them waiting past August, honestly. I think pass holders might get the first dibs on tickets, but I have no idea what kind
Well,
of tickets
guess I'm
they'll
getting a
sell
pass.
But we might have some heads up, so you like can go like it's sneaky. They're gonna be like pass holders get free get first access to selling tickets to Epic Universe next week, and everyone buys a pass holder now, and then next week you buy your passes. But as we get closer, they'll offer more ticket types. So the first tickets that go on sale might be like 5-day passes to all the parks or 7-day passes or vacation packages that have to include the hotel, which is fine for you if you're going to
Oh
get the
my
hotel.
goodness.
So they're going to
Gonna have
do
to
the most
sell a
expensive
kidney.
things. The most expensive things first, and as we get closer, the more normal tickets, if there's any left, because they might run out of
Oh
capacity for
my.
those first few
So I'm
weeks.
gonna be spending. What do I need to do? Like, how much money do I need to
You remember the money you were going to spend on the Galactic Star Cruiser?
double it?
Set that aside. No.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know how expensive. Like we haven't really budgeted that strictly when we go down there, so I know how expensive it can get. So I'm not too worried about that, but I just want to make
Consider
sure I get tickets.
Consider staying at the Universal Stella Nova Resort. It is across the street from Epic Universe, has a sidewalk, and you can walk right in the front entrance.
Oh, okay.
It will be
Is
5 times less money than the Helios Hotel.
but it's a different experience, you know. You need that experience.
You have to cross the street. That's not immersive. I want to be in the park.
Is so Universal set up where there's Universal Studios and then Islands of Adventure, like right next to each other, right? Is Epic Universe going to be on that same boardwalk area? No.
It's 2.5 miles south,
Okay.
down by the Orange County Convention Center. So it is a whole new universe for Universal Orlando.
That's a good way. That's some good marketing right there.
Thank you. I'm doing their job for them. Started in 2018. Why stop now?
That's good.
Well, again, just want to say thank you for coming onto the show and just being as kind as you are to, do a show where, we're only 42 episodes in, but love gaming the same way that you love theme parks, and just want to give the listeners something of value. And honestly, like, I know Johnny and I have learned a lot. I know our listeners are going to learn a lot. Maybe getting into theme park content creation is something that they'll start doing now. But yeah, I just want to say thank you.
You're
Yeah, thanks.
welcome.
This was one of my favorite episodes because I mean we talk about games all the time, and I also I also like theme parks. So being able to talk about something else other than games, but games adjacent, like that's perfect.
Right. Exactly. It's a conflation of the two loves. Your new theme park love and your video game love.
Yeah, I mean, do you see yourself like getting more into gaming now that it's kind of entered the theme park space?
I mean, we have a Switch. Look, I'm not gonna lie.
Only one.
I'm obsessed with Animal Crossing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say I wasted, but I've spent a lot of time, getting my island just the way I want and nurturing relationships with all of my residents. So it is I I play video games technically, just not
Yeah.
the ones that everyone else plays. I stick with the one that I like, and
Oh
I
no,
play only that one.
that's perfectly fine. And we were actually talking about how Animal Crossing would be like a cool theme for a park. I just
Oh,
don't
I
know what
have
they
a
would do
really
for a
good
ride.
idea.
Oh, yeah,
I
okay.
have
What's
a
your
really
idea?
good idea for. I don't want to go into it too much, but it's an indoor land and has a little moat around it on the inside, and that's a boat ride that goes around
Mhm.
the island. And Captain, of course, is driving the boat ride. You can buy interactive tools, which you can use around the land to collect different
Ooh.
things.
Uh-huh.
There's, of course, a store for Nook's Cranny. There's small little kiddie rides based on different things. It's a kids land, but anyone who's fans of the actual game would appreciate it. But the best part is because it's indoor, the walls and the trees and everything is projection mapped, so it goes through the day night cycle and goes through the four seasons.
Oh
So
Yeah,
you'll
man.
that
see while you're in there, if you're in there for a full hour, you will get all four seasons where it will look like it's snowing and the trees will turn white, or it'll look like it's turning brown for fall. But also at the same time, you'll see the sun go down and come back up with the stars, little shooting stars. So, but then the boat ride would go through different buildings and around the island, and through the stream in the middle. So
So how much influence do you
that's
have at Universal? Because I think that needs to happen.
yeah.
There's an indoor land at Universal Beijing for Kung Fu Panda, the Land of Awesomeness. And that one has something very similar where it has cherry blossom trees with projection mapping on it and environmental effects. So it feels like you're outside, but it's completely indoors. And it has a boat ride. So, I stole half of this idea from that. But
But it works. It
imagine,
works.
but it's so bright and colorful and it's so stylized that you really can't just do it in the real world
Oh,
for Animal
I want
Crossing.
that now.
Just imagine going to Nook's Cranny and buying like a shovel and then going and tapping rocks everywhere and collecting things. And it shows
Oh
up
my
on the app.
goodness.
Yeah.
Taking my
Or buying a
bells in real
net.
life.
You could buy a net and just start hitting your friends with it, just
Yeah,
same
just
way that you do
popping
in
them
Animal
right in the
Crossing.
head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would actually be really cool if you had AR in the app. So you would see the butterfly and you catch it
Ooh, yeah.
with the physical net.
And then
Yeah.
they
It
have
would
like a
go into your
museum that you
collection.
take it to.
You drop it off at the museum and it has your private collection. Oh, I like that. Oh, yeah,
Oh
you
my
definitely have
god.
to have the museum. Obviously, you have to have the museum. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the clothing store from the Able
Yeah, because then
Sisters.
you could fish too. You could do fish. You fish while you're on
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
boat.
And they sell each of these tools individually.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
making $35 to $50 times four.
So my idea for the Able Sisters is not like really anything super cool, but like it would be more of like a Build-A-Bear workshop
Hmm.
where you could just go in and make your favorite villagers. Like they already have some Animal Crossing
Oh.
characters in Build-A-Bear like KK and
Yep.
Isabel, but if there's like one of your favorite villagers, you can
Yep.
only get it at the Able Sisters store.
I like the idea that you could dress the character, but
Hmm.
also buy the clothes for yourself. And do
You're
maybe
Ooh.
print your
you're
own.
spending a lot. You're making us spend a lot of money on this.
You do your own design. You can upload your own design, and they'll print it on a shirt for you. Just like
Or
Ooh.
you
just
could
like
take a design
making
that you made in Animal Crossing,
right.
and
Yes. You export it from Animal Crossing into the real world and wear it. Yes, that would be the perfect.
I like the
You know, KK. If you notice, KK Slider doesn't wear clothes. Am I the only one who's noticed this dog is completely naked, and he's the only character in the entire game not wearing not wearing a shirt? Like everyone's no one's wearing pants, fine, but he's not
Yeah.
wearing a shirt. He's
I
just
guess.
naked Snoopy,
Yeah. I
and
guess
yet he's at Build-A-Bear. He's at Build-A-Bear, the one person who doesn't wear clothes.
that's a really good point. Yeah. Doesn't need all he has is a guitar. His guitar is like the
Right.
well,
sensor
that's
bar,
what's covering it
basically.
up. That's what's covering it up.
I didn't notice until I went and did stretching, and he was there, and he didn't have the guitar because he had to do stretching. And I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
he's naked. The guitar is his clothes.
I do like the idea of KK having a concert, but only on Saturday nights.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's you can't do that in theme park world. Although you can do stamps, you can only get on Halloween. So what do I know?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's a great idea.
yeah, and I mean
Hope it
there's
happens.
just so many ideas that I think Nintendo can do, and they're so good at just playing that I can't wait to see, what it is that they bring to the future of their parks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of hope that the relationship with Nintendo, because it was announced in 2015 with Universal Parks, and we're only just now starting to get the second phases of some of these lands, like Donkey Kong Country in
Yeah.
Japan, and our first version of the land here in Orlando. So it is interesting to see where they go from here, whether they do Zelda. Pokemon is a separate contract, but it's happening. So I'm excited to see if they were thinking of doing Splatoon. They're
Wait,
now thinking
what?
of doing they're,
Sorry.
if you've seen Minion Blast, where you like
Yeah.
shoot on the screen, that
Yeah.
ride system was probably developed for Splatoon, so that the screens can
And it
have like
wouldn't
the
sell as
base
much,
map.
cheesy.
No, it would. It would. It would do well.
In
Especially in
Japan. In
Japan. What are you
Japan.
talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. Luigi's Mansion now rumored for Epic Universe, as like an Omni Mover ride where you use the what is it called?
The
The Ghostbuster
Poltergust?
thing.
The Poltergust,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
Poltergust. Yeah. So I'm curious to see if that actually happens. And who knows, from there they can do I still want them to do a Super Smash Brothers like stunt show or something. Like there's the sky's
Oh,
the limit. The sky's the limit.
Cirque du
that's
Soleil Smash
amazing.
Edition.
Yeah. Would you
Well,
work for Universal, or like are you okay just making your own content and not being part of
Technically
like
I
that
did work
team?
for Universal. I was a Jaws skipper
Okay.
at Universal. So I've done my time. And no, yeah, if you're listening and you want me to stop reporting all this stuff, hire me to design rides. It's the only way to shut me up. So get me to sign an NDA, and I can't do this anymore.
Well, again, Johnny, you have anything else you want to do? I know that we have taken up more time than we said we would, so
That's okay. This has been fun. I needed to get the Animal Crossing idea out.
yeah,
yeah,
that needs to be
it's
out there.
amazing.
Well,
I mean, you gotta
actually, maybe
just
I'll
make a
cut it
video.
because I don't want anybody stealing that idea. Just cut it. But no, I mean this was a very fascinating conversation. Thanks again. Let the people know where they can find you.
The YouTube is Theme Park Stop, and the website for now is orlandoparkstop.com. Although you can type in themeparkstop.com, it'll still get you there. And I am Alicia Stella on Twitter.
Cheesy, where can people find you?
Hey, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. We'll throw it in there.
Yeah, I'm
Blue
on all
Sky,
those too.
I guess.
Yeah, Blue Sky, sure.
And Nintendo Powercast, Cheesy C64, CheezyC 64.
And I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.